It's something you notice sometimes, isn't it?
What's that?
You meet someone, maybe they're older, 50s, 60s,
Hmm.
and you just get this feeling like something's a bit, well, out of sync. Undeveloped, maybe?
Oh yeah, like a part of them hasn't quite kept pace with the adult body,
Exactly. You might see it in, I don't know, women who maybe seem to dress or act a bit like little girls still.
or men who are maybe still making those kind of playground jokes,
Yeah,
relying on that sort of humor. It could feel jarring sometimes.
right. And it feels like it's often more than just like style choices or fashion.
Definitely deeper.
Yeah.
It often points towards an inner child, really, a part that's still sort of waiting.
Waiting for what, though?
Well, waiting for the kind of care or attention it needed way back when, but maybe didn't fully receive.
Okay. So the idea is that within every adult, there's still this child self. It doesn't just vanish.
Not at all. It just, moves inside, often unseen, maybe pushed aside by all the commands of being an adult.
So that's what we want to explore a bit today, right? This whole idea of the inner child.
Yeah, and how connecting with that part might actually be essential for, like, true adulthood.
Understanding its impact even decades later.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Not about staying immature, but about understanding this really vital part of who we are.
Okay, so let's get into the why. How does this inner part get, well, stuck, seems to be the word people use. What happens?
Well, a really common theme is this idea of an abandonment wound.
Which doesn't always mean literal abandonment, right?
No, not necessarily. It's more about those times every kid experiences where their needs for maybe presence or understanding or just feeling gotten weren't quite met.
So maybe a parent was there physically, but emotionally distant.
Exactly. Or maybe parents who were really doing their best, but maybe their way of showing love felt, I don't know, conditional or even painful somehow.
And the child part just sort of freezes in that moment, gets stuck there.
That's a really key idea. It's like that part gets frozen in time, carrying the feelings from those moments that were just too much to handle back then.
Wow.
And if the adult self that develops later doesn't eventually step in to offer that missing care, well, that wounded part can kind of end up driving the bus.
Driving the bus. You mean making adult decisions?
Yeah, driving decisions from that old place of hurt or unmet need. It's the adult body, sure, but the motivation, the reactions, they're coming from that younger, wounded self.
So it's that, like, scared or confused kid dictating things.
Often, yes.
Yeah.
Dictating behavior, shaping relationships, influencing how we handle conflict, even career choices sometimes.
Mm.
From the outside, you see a functioning adult, but inside, there's often this lost kid just desperately trying to get its needs met using old, outdated strategies.
Still asking those big questions.
Absolutely. Am I loved? Am I actually seen for who I am? Am I safe here? Those fundamental, vulnerable questions.
Now, it feels important to say that this isn't about blaming parents, is it?
Oh, absolutely vital. That's not the point at all. Our parents, well, they had their own limitations, their own histories.
Right. They did the best they could with what they had.
Exactly. So the focus really shifts to us now, as adults today. We have a choice.
Keep reacting from that old place.
Or learn to stand alongside that inner part. Show up for it with, like, adult presence and kindness.
Okay. So how do we do that? What does standing beside it actually look like in practice?
Well, a lot of it starts with just recognition and presence.
Acknowledging it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe through just quiet reflection or even talking to that part inside. Saying something like, okay, I'm here now. You're not alone anymore. I see you. I'll stay with you.
Just that act of turning towards it.
It starts to shift the whole dynamic. It really does.
So if the inner adult isn't doing that, if they're not present, how does this unparented inner child typically show up in adult life? What are the signs?
It's pretty interesting how consistent the patterns are. One really common one is this almost obsessive need for external validation.
Always looking outside for approval, to feel okay.
Yeah, that constant search to feel seen. Another big one is unconsciously expecting partners, romantic partners, to be like substitute parents.
Ah, looking for them to fix everything or provide that perfect unconditional safety.
Exactly. Which, is just not sustainable in an adult relationship. It puts impossible pressure on the other person.
I can see that. What else?
But sometimes people might really exaggerate those traditional gender roles,
Mm-hmm.
like rigidly performing what they thought being a girl or being a boy meant when they were little.
Because their idea of identity got kind of locked in back then.
That seems to be part of it, yeah. Instead of developing a more authentic, flexible adult sense of self,
Hmm.
And really importantly, there's often this intense sensitivity to rejection.
Oh.
Yeah, like any setback, any disagreement can feel like complete devastating abandonment all over again. It triggers that old wound.
Which could lead to reactions that seem out of proportion.
Totally. Big emotional outbursts, maybe, or crying without really knowing why, or the opposite, putting on a really brave face while feeling terrified or heartbroken inside.
That adult mask trying to hide the vulnerable kid?
That's exactly it.
This brings up such a crucial point. What does this inner child actually need from us as adults? Does it need us to fix it? To make the feelings go away?
This might be the most profound insight. The core need isn't to be fixed.
No.
No. It doesn't need its feelings shut down or argued with or changed. What it really truly craves is to be seen.
Seen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Acknowledged, validated by the adult you are right now.
So it's not about saying, oh, stop being sad or don't be scared.
No, exactly. That's just pushing it away again, denying its reality.
Yeah.
It needs you, the adult, to turn towards it and say, okay, yeah, I see you're scared. I see your sadness. It's okay that you feel that way. But look, I'm here with you now. You don't have to hold this all by yourself anymore.
That feels different, much more compassionate.
It is. It's about companionship, not correction.
Some perspectives also bring in things like family loyalties. How does that fit in?
Yeah, that adds another interesting layer.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes our difficulty in really stepping into our own adult lives, our own power, can be tied to these unconscious loyalties in our family system.
Meaning?
Well, we might subconsciously feel loyal to, say, a parent or a grandparent who really struggled. And maybe we show that loyalty by not allowing ourselves to thrive in ways they couldn't.
Holding ourselves back out of a kind of hidden allegiance?
Something like that. Or, staying small or keeping certain problems going might be an unconscious way of signaling back to a parent, maybe even one who's passed away.
Signaling what?
Look, I'm still waiting. I'm still here waiting for you to see me, to finally take care of me. Even if consciously we know that's impossible now.
Wow, so those patterns, those feelings can echo down through generations.
It seems they can, yes. The unresolved stuff, the burdens, they can echo.
Yeah.
And until we can sort of identify and maybe release the burdens that aren't actually ours to carry,
That inner child can keep acting out.
it keeps expressing its pain, its unmet needs, often in the ways we don't immediately connect back to that original source.
How does it express itself then? It's not usually literal tantrums, I guess.
No, usually not. The scream, as some call it, can take many forms.
Like what?
It could be withdrawal, silence, or compulsive behaviors, overeating, drinking too much, other addictions. Self-sabotage is a big one.
Freezing up under pressure, perfectionism.
Yes, all of those. Chronic anxiety. These are often that inner child's desperate attempts to get attention, to signal, hey, look at me, I'm hurting over here. Someone needs to show up for me.
That sounds exhausting and challenging.
It really can be. But here's the really hopeful part.
Okay.
The powerful truth is, you are no longer that helpless child. You're not. You are an adult now.
Right. In the present moment?
Exactly. And in this present moment, you have capacities, you have resources that your younger self couldn't even have imagined. Access to support, new ways of understanding things, more self-awareness.
And courage.
And maybe the most important thing, you have access to yourself. You, the adult. You can now offer that inner child the consistent presence, the kindness, the acceptance it always needed.
You can be the one who shows up.
Yes, you can communicate, hey, you don't have to hide anymore. You don't have to fight this battle all alone. I'm here for you now, today.
And this isn't just a nice theory, is it? People actually experience this.
Oh, absolutely. People who really engage with this kind of inner work consistently report this profound sense of, like, coming home to themselves.
Not getting stuck dwelling on the past.
No, it's not about wallowing. It's about finally allowing that younger part to, relax, integrate, maybe even grow up a bit, but gently, with tenderness and awareness from the adult self.
So it's not about cutting off the child part to be mature.
No, far from it. It's actually the opposite. True maturity seems to involve embracing that inner child, often with the kind of unconditional acceptance that maybe wasn't there originally.
And that's where things start to unlock.
Yes, because that's where you access the gifts of the inner child, too. It's not just old wounds down there.
What kind of gifts?
It's the source of your deepest joy, your sense of wonder, your spontaneity, that part that knows how to play, how to laugh freely, how to be delighted by simple things. Your intuition often lives there. Your creativity that doesn't need permission.
So that's where the lightness and, the fun is.
Exactly. Your authentic connection to life, your passion, your playful spirit, it's deeply connected to that inner child energy.
And if we push that away, thinking we just have to be serious adults,
We cut ourselves off from all that vitality. Life can start to feel really tight, controlled, maybe a bit gray or meaningless.
but when the inner adult genuinely steps up and includes the child,
Then you get this different kind of lightness. Not irresponsibility, but a grounded lightness.
mm,
Maturity stops feeling like this heavy performance.
okay.
It becomes more like a calm, capable presence that actually has room for everything. The joy and the sorrow, the laughter and the tears, the wonder and the practical action.
It sounds like it really brings you back into connection with yourself. Fully.
It really does seem to.
Yeah.
When that inner kid finally gets the attention and care it was longing for, it's like something unblocks. People talk about seeing the world with fresh eyes again, really tasting their food, noticing beauty.
Things that were there all along, but maybe unnoticed.
Yeah. And that pressure to be on all the time or overly serious, it starts to ease up because the internal struggle lessens.
And you can just be more yourself, authentically.
Yes, all of yourself, the parts that hurt, the parts that are joyful and creative, all held with kindness by your capable adult self. And in that wholeness, there's a real sense of inner security, real strength.
So if someone listening feels drawn to this idea,
Based on everything we've been exploring,
yeah,
it really
Yeah.
does seem foundational, not just some optional extra for personal growth, but key to becoming a truly integrated, thriving human being.
So let's pull this together then. We've talked about recognizing that unparented inner child, understanding it needs to be seen, not fixed, and how our adult self can actually provide that care, now leading towards integration. What's the main takeaway here?
I think the core message is that real maturity isn't about leaving your past or your younger self behind. It's not about suppression.
Right.
It's about taking conscious adult responsibility right here, right now, turning towards that vulnerable part of you with intention, with kindness, with presence, showing up for it.
And when we do that, when we embrace the inner child with that adult acceptance,
That's when we unlock access to all those amazing qualities,
Yeah.
right? The joy, the spontaneity, intuition, creativity, the stuff that makes life feel vibrant.
so the goal isn't being stuck as a child or being just some rigid, disconnected adult,
Exactly. It's integration, bringing all the pieces of you together in harmony, consciously.
which leaves us with a thought for everyone listening.
Yeah. What might open up for you if you really welcome that often hidden part of yourself consistently with adult kindness, with real presence?
Yeah.
What might be waiting there?
What untapped joy or creativity or freedom might just be waiting beneath the surface of your everyday adult life?